Correlation. Correlation is the study of relationship between two or more variables. These variables which are under study should have a cause and effect relationship. Then only it becomes correlation. Major types of correlation are simple correlation, partial correlation, multiple correlation, linear and non-linear correlation, positive and negative correlation, perfect and imperfect correlation. First one is simple correlation. In simple correlation, the researcher considers only two variables for his study. For example, height and weight. In the case of partial correlation, even though there are multiple variables under study, the researcher will consider only a part of it. He will not consider all the variables. Then such a correlation is termed as partial correlation. Third one, multiple correlation. In the case of multiple correlation, the researcher considers more than two variables for his study or for computing correlation. Such a correlation is termed as multiple correlation. For example, to know the production yield during a particular year, even though there are several variables such as seed, rainfall, place of cultivation, manure used, time of cultivation, fertility soil, so on and so forth, the researcher will consider only two or more variables such as manure used, seed used, place of cultivation. Then such a correlation is termed as multiple correlation. Next one is linear correlation. When the data obtained is plotted on a graph paper and if all the points are joined together to get a straight line, then such a correlation is termed as linear correlation. Linear correlation signifies that there exists either a perfect relationship between both these variables in positive way or in a negative way. Next one is non-linear correlation. In non-linear correlation, there does not exist a perfect relationship between both these variables. That is, if these points are or if the data is plotted on a graph paper and the points joined together, and if we does not get a straight line, it signifies that there does not exist a perfect relationship between these two variables. Next one is positive correlation. If both the variables under study move in the same direction, that is either showing an increasing tendency or a decreasing tendency, it is called positive correlation. And if both the variables move in the opposite direction, that is if first variable increase, the second variable decrease and vice versa, it signifies that there exists a negative correlation between the variables. Fourth one is perfect correlation. In the case of perfect correlation, if the first variable increase or decrease by 10% and the second variable also increase or decrease by 10%, there exists a perfect correlation between these two variables. In the case of imperfect correlation, the increase or decrease does not show any definite pattern. Next one is values of correlation. The correlation's value lies between -1 and +1. -1 signifies that there exists a perfect negative correlation and +1 signifies that there exists a perfect positive correlation. If value 0 is obtained, then it signifies that there does not exist any correlation between the variables under study. Usually, even though the value ranges between -1 and +1, usually we get values ranging in between -1 and 0 and 0 and +1.